This video will demonstrate how to create an assembly drawing in Autodesk Inventor, how to take that assembly drawing, put it into a presentation file, make an exploded view using tweaks in the presentation file, and then use a snapshot from the presentation file to create a drawing in Autodesk Inventor. Begin by making sure that you have the project set up correctly. So I have my project set up here, and I'm going to begin by creating a new assembly file. However, since this part is a metric part, I'm going to use the standard millimeter assembly file to create this. Once I've got it created, I'm going to go ahead and place the seat post clamp itself, and I'll place that grounded at the origin. Okay, and then I'm also going to place the cap screw as well. Now you'll notice that right off the bat that my view is kind of jammed up here, and if I turn this around and press F6, it brings me back to this strange view. So I'm just going to come in and orient this the way that I want it to be, and then I'm going to right click on the view cube and set the current view at home with a fit to view, so that now no matter where I go and I spin this around, if I press F6, it brings me back to where I want to be. In order to assemble this, I simply need to take this cap screw and put it into the assembly here. And if I zoom up on it, you'll see that there's threads here, and they're a little bit difficult to see, but there are also threads inside of there. You just can't really see them because of the way that but there's threads inside of there as well. So all I need to do here is come in and assemble this. I can use the Alt drag method so that I can just click on that outside corner and drag it and put it in there like that. And now that's assembled exactly the way I want it to be. I can F6 and save this as assembly 6 is just fine. And then I'm ready to move on to the next step, which is to create my presentation. So again, I'll go to File, New, and I want a presentation file, but again, this is still metric, so I'm going to go down here and choose my standard millimeter presentation file, say Create, and then I'm going to insert this assembly 6 into that presentation file. Now that I've got it in here, I just need to tweak this, which means I'm going to take this part right here and move it out so that I get an assembly view. So I'll just go to Tweak Components. I'll pick that cap screw that I want to move, and then I'm going to use the Z-axis arrow and just drag it out the direction that I want it to go, and then I can tell it exactly how far I want it to go. Right now it's at 34.471. I'm just going to change that to 30 millimeters. It actually needs to be negative 30 millimeters. And then press Enter. So now it's removed from the part file, and it has the little tweak trail here showing how it's supposed to go back together. I can do a couple things here. I'm going to press F6 to get it back to the normal view that I want. I'm going to create a new snapshot view of this. Notice that it creates a snapshot view over here in the browser, and then I'm going to go ahead and save this as well, and I'll just save it as assembly 6 with my presentation view. Now that I have my snapshot view, I'm ready to begin my drawing. So I'll go back up here again one more time to File, New, and this time I want a drawing, but I want the English standard IDW because I want this to be in inches. So I'll say Create that. It creates the drawing, of course. It's much too large, so I'm going to delete the ANSI large title block. I'm going to edit the sheet so that it's an ANSI A size sheet, which is 8.5 by 11, and then I will reinsert the smaller title block, the ANSI A title block, so that we get that where it wants to go. Now that it's in there, I can come in and edit the field text. If you right click on this, choose Edit Field Text, and then click right here, you can come in and you can add in information like the title of it, the subject, change the manager's name, all that kind of stuff to fill in the title block as necessary. I'm not going to do all that right now. So the next thing I want to do is place my base view, which is going to be that snapshot that I just created. And notice that it recognizes that I still have the IPN, the presentation file, open, so that it puts it in there automatically with that spread or with that snapshot. I want this to come in at a 2:1, make it a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to drag it off to the side a little bit. I think that looks a little bit better like that. And then choose OK. That creates my base view, okay, that I can now come in and put in my balloons and my my bill of materials. So to put the bill of materials in first, I'll go to Annotate. I actually go to Parts List, and then I'll select my view, which is this one here, and say OK. It's going to say, hey, do you want to enable the BOM view? I say yes. And then I'm going to put that right up here, and notice that it'll snap it right up into that corner. It says item number 1 is the seat post clamp. Here's what it's made out of. Item number 2 is the M5x20 metric hex cap screw, which is that one there. It's all ready to go. The only thing I have left to do now is to balloon this. So I'll say balloon. The view that I want is this one. The components that I want to add are the screw and the post clamp itself. So I'll say those are good. And now I'm going to select my placement. I'm going to go ahead and use the horizontal placement, and I can put them anywhere I want because I'll end up moving them eventually anyway. So I'll say, how about if we put it right here like this? Okay, and then just say OK. So now it puts them in there, and now my balloons are in weird spots and the arrows are kind of in weird spots. So the last thing that I need to do now is just take and move these so that they point now maybe to where something that I would rather actually have them be. Make sure that those two line up. And have this point maybe over here to place a little bit more natural there. Notice that it still has an arrow. If you don't get it attached correctly, it'll show up as a dot instead. So that's all there is to it. Hopefully you'll be able to get through this just as easily as I did.